understanding the science of learning, understanding horsemanship, and understanding equitation. And those three subjects could make you into a very handy horseman. And that really, I think if you own a horse, we have a responsibility to try and be the best horseman that we can be. The Liberty work that you might have seen in another video is pretty useful for warming the horse up. So I've just popped the saddle on his back. I can step the hindquarters across here, bring the front end over, and maybe walk my horse past me. And you do this with a halter and lead rope, even with a young horse. Step the hindquarters over, bring the front end through. There we go. And from there, you know, you could start to speed the horse's feet up a little. And this is the kind of thing that I'd do with my horse. Before I'd get on his back, help him warm up a little, send him out there nice and calm. I could stop his feet, speed his feet up a little. Bring him around here and maybe just check out in all three gaits, check out that everything's going well before I jumped up on his back. Is he mentally, emotionally, and physically doing well? There we go. Send him out here. Oh. Good boy. Oh. Oh. There's a man. That's a good little warm up there, all three gaits. We've got go, we've got whoa, we've got control of his feet. And you know, once you've got good groundwork in there, that you can use that and check out, you know, how's my horse doing today? Is he lame, or is he going well in his body? Is he going well in his mind? So as I said, mentally, emotionally, and physically, how are you doing today? He's warmed up, saddle's in its place, everything's nice. I can make any adjustments that need to be made, but all's good. And now we're ready to ride. Now we're up on the horse's back. Unfortunately, good horsemanship has often been associated with something Western, and maybe not so much with any horse in any discipline, but good horsemanship should be applied to whatever we do with horses. And everything I did on the ground, so, you know, getting the horse used to the flag and all those sorts of things, all of that stuff I should be able to carry onto the horse's back. It's not because, you know, I didn't do it on the ground for no reason. It has to have a sense, it has to mean something. I have to be able to carry it up here to the horse's back. Once I'm up on the horse's back, the control of the horse's feet again becomes an issue. Now, the first thing I might do is control the head and neck, so that I knew that I could always bend the horse around and avoid the hindquarters becoming powerful. So I could bring his head round here, and from there what I might be able to do is step the hindquarters across. Now, to kind of get precise, we need to get precise about the control of the horse's feet. I'll use this to keep the flies off him while I'm working here. So if I pick up on the reins, the horse should be already getting soft in my hands, and I could just step the hindquarters across. Now, if I put the leg on as the hindquarters comes across, I'll remove the leg, and I should be able to move the hindquarters across here and move the hindquarters across here without moving his front feet. It's kind of, I guess, calling the horse a puppet might not please everyone, but it would be like sort of controlling a puppet in a way. My reins and my feet can connect to his feet, so I could pick up a front foot and then step it across. And I could pick up a front foot and step it across. And I might be able to pick the front foot and sort of get my actions of hand and legs down to his legs, and just step a front foot across here and just step a front foot across here. Now, if I could pick up that front foot and step it across there, and pick up this front foot and step it across there, I've got control of his shoulders. I could probably do that, if I'm really precise with the position of my feet, my legs, I could probably just put a little pressure on here and step the shoulder across. And even without my hands, be able to step the shoulders across there and be able to step the shoulders across here. And shoo those flies away at the same time. And be able to step those shoulders across, or if I put my leg back a little further, step the hindquarters across and step the hindquarters across. And not move his feet. It's important that if I put on one leg, he's not going forward. Otherwise, in future exercises, I'll use one leg to move his body and his feet will speed up, and I don't want that. So I explained nice and early to the horse, to remove this stimulus, move your back feet, and to remove this stimulus, move your front feet, and I get those feet again under stimulus control. But what's important is the removal of the leg. Put the leg on, build the pressure up. When he moves away from it, take the leg away. From there, that will give me the basis of direction. So I can, maybe if he was getting a little bothered by the environment, something was bothering him a little, I'd be able to step the hindquarters across and then bring the front end through here and keep his feet nice and busy and help him get a little bit less worried about things that were happening. So if he was getting bothered, I'd bring the hindquarters across here, step those across, bring the shoulders across here, and keep his feet busy. If I could keep his feet busy, I can keep his mind busy, and then that way he won't be getting bothered by other things. So if he's getting emotionally bothered, you know, the first thing to do, you wouldn't just rub him and say, "That's great, thank you." You'd control his feet. Now, if I can make sure that there's no speeding up, I'm moving this flag around here. I just want to make sure that his feet don't get faster. While I'm doing that, I can move around here and I put a little outside leg on and just steer my horse across here and make sure that he's between my legs. You want the horse between your legs and between your reins, and little by little, you'll be able to, if you're nice and precise with that, is be able to step the horse across here. So I'll move my horse towards you here and then be able to step the horse over there. And be really able to control those shoulders. And of course, I'm not doing anything very exaggerated with my feet. I'm not putting my legs forward or moving them around to any great extent. They're just where they are. They're right underneath me here. I can always stand up. So if I can stand up, I must be pretty well balanced. And in that way, I can step my horse's feet across here. And I'll walk down towards you now. I'll walk over here a little way. Walk towards you and step the feet and step his feet over here and step his feet over here. And again, what's important is removing that leg as the horse steps away from the pressure. Make sure that he wins, that he knows, okay, if I move this way, the pressure goes away and I can steer the horse over here. I guess it's not about using the aids to get responses, it's about using the removal of the aids to teach responses, and there's a world of difference in there. Now, you get flies there, man. Now, if I can steer his feet, I can probably put in place. Now I need to be able to speed them up and slow them down. So from there, I'd put into place an accelerator, and that would be to push the belt buckle forward, squeeze with my legs. I wouldn't be kicking him in the belly. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. So roll the belt buckle forward, squeeze with the legs, and when he speeds up, take the legs away. I've got no leg on the horse. The legs are nice and relaxed, and I'm not pushing him forward. If I block my seat, I should be able to stop his feet. Now, if he didn't stop his feet, my hands would come into action. So I suppose going back to direction, I'm not using my hands to steer the horse, I'm using my hands if he doesn't turn. Try to turn with my leg. If he doesn't turn, use the hand. So outside leg, if he doesn't turn, use the hand. The inside leg, outside rein, that'll all happen later. We're just talking about very basic responses for now. Is the horse between your legs? If he isn't, and you're into, I don't know, show jumping, you'll probably find your horse ducking out a lot because he's not between your legs. If you're going out on a trail ride, you'll find your horse shying a lot because he's not between your legs. You know, if you don't have the education in place, things are going to go wrong. So he's between my legs. I can go left and right, and I'm not worried about the higher level movements for now. He's between my legs. I've got an accelerator. I can easily and with light pressure go forward. I know that there's no fear in there. Sometimes I might take my saddle pad, put my hand on it, make sure I'm not using my hands too much, steer my horse across in front of you and block my seat and stop his feet. Now if he was a bit slow in that stop, I'd step him backwards to where I thought I might have stopped him, so that I'm making sure that he's stopping quicker. If he doesn't stop quick enough, we back up a fair way, and he might say, well, the quicker I stop, the less I go backwards. But I want him thinking backwards in the stop. I don't want him stopping on his nose. I want him stopping on his hindquarters. Now, all of these things in controlling his feet would mean that I could actually step him out on the circle. I'd have good leg responses. So what I mean by that is I can trot my horse, and now I can step the shoulders across here, but also I could maybe bring my shoulders over towards you and keep the hind end straight. Whoops there. Or maybe I could bring the hindquarters towards you and keep the back end straight. And be able to isolate different parts of the horse's body. But before I did that, good man. But before I did that, I would already be able to, for example, just control the shoulders or just control the hindquarters. And then I'd start to add that to different movements. Only when I had control of the horse's feet would I start worrying about controlling his body. And at that point, so I've got direction, I've got impulsion, I can go forward. And now, if I pick up on the reins, I'd be looking at the horse to yield. And everything's nice and soft in my hands, I'd take the pressure away. Put the pressure on. When he's soft, take the pressure away. Put the pressure on. When he's soft, take the pressure away. Make sure when you pick up on those reins, just with that, if that knot, we're in a halter here, if that knot under there picks up, he should move away from that pressure. And if he doesn't, well, he's not light enough. As I'm trotting there, I should be able to hold the reins between the thumb and the index, between the thumb and the first finger there, and just be able to pick up on that and trot the horse around and just have him there with that light pressure. And if I can't, if I need more than that, well, I need to go back to take and give. Pick up on the reins, put a pressure on. When he yields, give the reins away. Until it's nice and light. Until I can just have that. There's a good boy. So hands that close slowly, open quickly. Put the pressure on, start off with something light, build it up until he yields and then release quickly. And you'll find that relatively quickly, light pressures will get rapid responses. And that's everything that every good horseman wants. You could understand the science behind it. It's all operant conditioning through negative reinforcement. There's a pressure, there's a response, the pressure is removed at the appropriate moment. And rapidly those pressures are removed to the smallest versions of themselves. And this is about as ethical as we can get this game. Understand the science, understand the horsemanship, bring the two together. And really, I guess, finally, there's three subjects. If you could understand the science of learning, understand the horsemanship to put in place a really good foundation on the horse, and then understand equitation, you're a pretty handy horseman. But I think the three subjects need to be brought together. The science is like what's actually happening in there. You know, is he being a good boy because he's respecting me as his leader, or are they just well-conditioned responses? Is he trying to please me, or is he trying to please himself, and he knows how to manage all those pressures? He knows if he moves that shoulder across there, that pressure goes away, and that pressure goes away if he brings the shoulder here. And if he brings the hindquarters across here, the pressure is removed, and the pressure is removed. You know, am I his leader, or am I just conditioning precise responses? I think it's more of the second one. So understand what's going on, understand the importance of the control of the horse's feet, have the horse free from fear, all those really important horsemanship principles. And then, of course, the better you ride, well, the better things, the more fine the responses can be. If you're kind of wobbling all over your horse's back and you're not being precise, then maybe just small actions of weight and seat control won't be perceived by the horse as cues, because it's all sort of covered over by the fact that you're wobbling around up here. So the better you ride, the better the horse can understand the communication. So understanding the science of learning, understanding horsemanship, and understanding equitation, and those three subjects could make you into a very handy horseman. And that really, I think, if you own a horse, we have a responsibility to try and be the best horseman that we can be. And bringing these three subjects together, I know for myself, has really helped me to be better for my horses, get into less trouble, not upsetting my horses, not upsetting my clients, and certainly being clear and understood. And then that way we're getting really light responses, rapid light responses from really small cues. There's nothing more agreeable, I think, when the horse is starting to understand you and you get really connected with his feet. So you could walk his feet forward, you could speed the feet up, you could slow the feet down, you could speed the feet up, you could turn his feet around. Once you're starting to get that, you could stop his feet, you could step his feet backwards, good man. You could step his feet forwards, stop his feet, move the hindquarters over here, move the forequarters over here. You know, when you can almost dance with his feet, hindquarters, shoulder over here, hindquarters over there, shoulders over here. So when you're communicating with his feet and you've really got him between your legs, so you can sort of rock him across here and rock him across there, when you can feel that, you know, there's nothing much more agreeable as far as I'm concerned. The horse is almost like, it's kind of like you gain about 600 kilos and you've got very, very powerful feet. So I'd invite you all to get interested in that and understand that on the ground or on the horse's back, if you can be precise about the control that you have over the horse's feet, maybe everything else would become so much easier. Really getting control of your horse's feet also implies that you're not pulling him by the mouth. I don't need control of the horse's face or his head. I need control of his feet. So I should be able to, with my horse, walk his feet over here, turn him around here, and get a lot of things done, you know, almost as if I could get them done with my arms folded. So bring my horse over here and still have control of his feet. What I could do even without my hands, if the cues are really understood, is step the hindquarters across here, bring the shoulders across there, or step the shoulders across here and get it done without needing my hands. And then that way I should be able to turn my horse around, steer my horse, bring him around here towards you, change diagonals, and bring him around here. Bring my horse down here towards you and be able to stop his feet. So I'm not riding his face. He understands the legs for steering, he understands the seat, and then I add the hands. Control his feet before you control his body. And maybe the position of his body will be the consequence of the control of his feet. And that'll be something that you might understand a little later. So you might like to start with putting a string around your horse's neck or something like that. And maybe when your horse understands your body, then you could stick a bit in his mouth and maybe not upset him with that. But I would always do something with my body before I did something with my hands, so that I could get really nice control of his feet, and then maybe have some fun with that. Make sure, even when you're cantering around on your horse, that there's a total absence of flight response. So that canter should be nice and rhythmic, should be able to change leads here, but I shouldn't have any flight response. I shouldn't be needing to hold the horse back in any way. Always able to stop his feet, and then able to go again, get his feet going again. So you can see there, I got the horse between my legs, steering him. Bring him around here towards you, change leads. Bring him around here towards you, and always able to stop his feet. Good man. And in doing that, in having that level of control with his feet, you'll have the horse feeling back to you, which is a really hard thing to explain sometimes, but it really comes back to self-carriage. The horse isn't running off with me, but I'm not driving him forward. If he was getting behind me, I'd bring him back up into the box. There's sort of a virtual box that I build around the horse. And if he was getting too fast, I'd bring him back in. But I would allow him to make the mistake and fix it up until he wasn't making the mistake. But never fall into the trap of holding the horse back in flight response or driving him forward if he's not going forward enough. In both cases, you're going to run out of brakes or an accelerator, but it's going to go bad. And so make sure that you've got the horse feeling back to you and that he really understands the seat, and never ever use flight or never use flight response in your training. I guess the best thing about all of that is if your horse is really well educated, there's no end to the enjoyment that you can have. But maybe before you think about how you're going to educate your horse, it all has to start with a human. So we have to learn how the horse learns and how to train the horse. You know, maybe the first horse that I ever tried to educate didn't turn out as well, and the next one was better, and the next one was better. But every horse I learned something, learn a little more. So these videos, I'm sort of sharing things that I've picked up in the last 20 years. Europe has been a fabulous experience for me as far as learning more and more about how to apply horsemanship to different situations. And not just doing good horsemanship for doing it, but applying it. That was really important to me. So I hope that you can pick up a few things in these videos and really become the best horseman that you can become, and make sure that you apply that to everything you do. It'll lead to a happy horse, a happy human. Everyone's a winner. We'll see you soon. Bye now.